Good afternoon, dear students. Today's our new topic is cross-cultural communication. So, what is cross-cultural communication? Before beginning today's lesson, let's watch a video about what is cross-cultural communication. Then we will speak about other items of the topic. Let's watch this video.
Hi, I'm Sukanya. In this video, you will learn about cross-cultural communication and factors that affect it. Thanks to the internet and other technological advancements, our business environment is infinitely expanding. Our workplace today span across various geographical locations and numerous cultures. What can be difficult, however, is understanding how people from different cultures speak, communicate, and perceive the world around them. This difficulty is aptly described in the words of Bernard Baruch, an American financier and statesman, and I quote here, "We didn't all come over the same ship, but we are all in the same boat," unquote. Cross-cultural communication in an organization deals with understanding different business customs, beliefs, and communication strategies. Understanding cross-cultural communication is important for any company that has a diverse workforce or plans on conducting global business. There are many factors that are vital in understanding cross-cultural communication. Let us look at some of the major factors that affect cross-cultural communication. Number one, high versus low context culture. The concept of high and low context culture relates to how an employee's thoughts, opinions, feelings, and upbringing affect how they act within a given culture. Low context cultures have direct, individualistic people who tend to base decisions on facts. This type of business person wants specifics noted in contracts and may have issues with trust. With high context cultures, on the other hand, trust is the most important part of business dealings. Individuals from high context cultures might be interested in getting to know the person they are conducting business with in order to get a gut feeling on decision making. They may also be more concerned about business teams and group success rather than individual achievement. Number two, non-verbal differences. Gestures and eye contact are two areas of non-verbal communication that are utilized differently across cultures. Extreme gesturing is considered rude in some cultures, while it is normal in other cultures. While pointing may be considered appropriate in some contexts in the United States, it may be considered rude to point towards another person in Japan. Instead, Japanese people might gesture with an open hand, with his palm facing up towards the person. Similarly, eye contact is another form of nonverbal communication that is perceived differently by different cultures. In the US, eye contact is a good thing and is seen as a reflection of honesty and straightforwardness. However, in some Asian and Middle Eastern cultures, prolonged eye contact can be seen as rude or aggressive in many situations. Number three, language differences. The biggest issue dealing with cross-cultural communication is the difficulty created by language barriers. This barrier can be overcome if there is a common language like English that both the parties understand, even if not proficient. In the absence of a common language, there are some strategies that people can use to help establish a rapport. You can explain yourself without words by using emotions, facial expressions, and other nonverbal cues. He can also use drawings and ask for an interpreter. Number four, power distance. Power distance relates to how power is distributed within an organization. A low power distance would mean that there are more informal hierarchies that allow for interaction between executives and their subordinates. Managers ask for feedback feedback from employees, and will even socialize with subordinates. A culture of high power distance would typically be very hierarchical in nature and have severe differences in authority. Questioning, challenging, or even suggesting to a higher authority may be taken as arrogance. I hope this video has given you an overview of cross-cultural communication and the factors affecting it. Thank you for watching this video.
So, from this video, you can watch what does it mean cross-cultural communication and the strategies of cross-cultural communication here. Now let's watch and we'll speak about PPT about cross-cultural communication. Okay, cross-cultural communication. From this picture, you can see a lot of citizens of a lot of different countries. Yeah, they are speaking to each other. So cross-cultural communication is meaning that communicate to the how to communicate with another culture's people. So cross-cultural communication plays a great role in, especially in business, going by business. So culture. So at first, what does it mean culture? Culture is a group which shapes a person's values and identity. Culture is formed by race and ethnicity, gender, class and religion, country of origin, and geographic region. So they are called culture. So in the world, there are a lot of cultures, and they can live together. And by the help of these cultures, they can do a lot of things, and by business, by education, by study, and others. 6 fundamental patterns of cultural differences. So the first one is different communication style. Each nation has its own communication styles. For example, gestures are considered rude in Japan, but in which people can be normal, and also eye contact, also non-verbal communications also are plays great role in communication styles. Each nation has its own communication styles. The second difference is different attitude toward conflicts. Third one is different approaches in completing tasks, and different decision-making styles, different attitudes toward disclosure, and different approaches to knowing. So they are main differences between different fundamental patterns of cultural differences. Communications. So communications, they can be, what are they? Communication maybe draws on speech patterns, language, and non-verbal messages, maybe interactive, can be interactive. From these pictures, you can see that these two women speak to each other by the help of the gestures. Yeah, and also these boys also speak interacting with each other, and also this couple of women and men trying to communicate easily to each other. They can be used verbal or non-verbal communication, gestures, and other types of communication. Cross-cultural communication is a field of study that looks at how people from different cultural backgrounds communicate in similar and different ways among themselves, and how they endeavor to communicate across culture. So cross-cultural communication can help us to how to communicate with other foreign country citizens. And it can, because why we need cross-cultural communication? Because you are the foreign languages faculty students. In the future, you can you can go to for studying abroad or maybe for working in abroad. So when you will be in abroad, you have to learn, you have to know how to contact with foreign peoples. So by the help of the cross-cultural communication strategies, you can now and you can know how to communicate and how to interact with other foreign people. So from this table, we can see the cross-cultural communications patterns. The first one is age. It can age, customs, values. It may be traditions, and the gender, men and women, men and female, country, ethnicity, and others. Important to companies due to the growth of the global business, technology, and internet. Understanding of how people from different cultures speak, communicate, and perceive the world around them. And the language differences, high context or low context cultures, non-verbal differences, and power distance are major factors affect cross-cultural communication. So above the video, you can see you can watch the what does it mean, high contact or low contact cultures, non-verbal differences, and power distances. We can we watched the main factors of this cross-cultural communication. Why is it important? Because it can be business, it can, if we know the cross-cultural communication, it can help us to run by business opportunities, job opportunities, to find good salary job opportunities, globalization, sharing of views and ideas, talent improvisation, and understanding of the diverse market. High, low, or low context cultures. Cultures that rely heavily on nonverbal and subtle situational cues in communication. North America and Western Europe. So it means that nonverbal communication, it can be what is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication can be gestures, mimos, and others. So it can be very official in North America and Western Europe. Low context cultures that rely heavily on words to convey meaning in communication. So low context cultures means that you don't use any non-verbal communications or any mimos. You have to use words, more words in your communication. So especially Middle East countries, people use low context cultures. You can see from this table, high or we see low context cultures. Cultures is the first one: Japanese, Arabs, Latin Americans, Italians, British, French, North Americans, Germans, and Swiss. Verbal communication. Use of sounds and words to express yourself includes face-to-face communication, telephone communication, radio, TV, and others. Non-verbal communication, so communications through sending and receiving wordless clues. For example, eye contact, gestures, touch, voice, paralanguage. So some cultures looking people in the eyes is honesty and straightforwardness, and in others it is seen as challenging and rude. In USA, if you have good eye contact with a person, it generally signifies that you are interested in the person. In the Middle East, eye contact is much less common and considered less appropriate. In many Asian, African, and Latin American cultures, extended eye contact can be taken as an effort or a challenge of authority. In Western Europe, it is considered proper and polite to maintain almost constant and eye contact with another person. Gestures. So a movement of part of the body, especially a hand or the head, to express an idea or meaning. So from this picture, you can see each of these has its meaning. The first one is okay. The second one is not bad. It's bad. It's meaning that. Touch. Touch, what does it mean, touch? That it means that Islam and Hinduism, touching with the left hand is insulting. So in Islamic religion, touching with the, it's important to touch with the right hand. If you touch that, when you greeting with someone, you should use your right hand instead of left. If you use your left hand, it can be rude or insulting to that people. Blocks to cultural communication. Ethnocentrism. What does it mean? Inability to accept another culture's worldview. For example, my way is the best way. In this point of view, you cannot accept other countries, other nations' world. So you prefer your nation's traditions, customs, better than others. Discrimination, treatment to an individual due to minority status, actual and perceived. For example, we just aren't equipped to serve people like that. Discrimination, it means racism. For example, black man and a white man, like that. Stereotyping, generalization about a person. She's like that because she's an Asian. Improving cross-cultural communication. So what should we do in order to improve cross-cultural communication? At first, we should overcome ethnocentrism and recognize cultural variation, learn about cultures, remove language barrier, help others adapt to our culture, write and speak clearly, improve communication skill, listen carefully, respect style preferences. Tips for effective cross-cultural communication. At first, we must slow down. We must not loud our voice. Avoid negative questions. We must not give any negative questions to other people. Separate questions. Take turns. Write it down. Be supportive. Check meanings and avoid slang. So they are the best tips for effective cross-cultural communication. So the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. George Bernard Shaw. So it is the end of our video lesson. Thank you for attention. Our lesson is over. Goodbye.